You may not know it yet, but heaven has been watching the deep ache inside your spirit, the quiet longing that echoes whenever you remember this person, the one who vanished from your life like the final page of a story torn away before it could be read. God sees every conversation you replay in your mind, every sleepless night spent wondering what went wrong, what was left unsaid, and whether it was truly over or just paused by divine hands for a reason you could never yet understand. The person you haven't spoken to in years, the one who meant more to you than even you admitted aloud, was not erased from your life by accident. Their sudden absence was not the end, but a holy interruption, orchestrated by God to protect you, to give both of you the time and transformation required before the divine reunion could unfold. They were removed not to be forgotten, but to be healed separately in silence, so that their return would be powerful, raw, sacred, and aligned with heaven's plan. There are things about this person that you do not know. There are things they have seen, suffered, and survived, and the pain they've carried for years has finally brought them to their knees in prayer, whispering your name as if you were the only thread connecting them to hope. Archangel Michael has been dispatched to walk beside them, shielding them from further self-destruction, so they can finally step back into your world not as the version that hurt you, but as the version heaven always intended for you to receive. Do not be fooled by silence. Do not misinterpret distance. What you thought was abandonment was actually divine realignment. And now, with every breath you take, you're inching closer to the moment when everything will shift. The air around you is thick with prophecy. If you've been feeling strange lately, extra sensitive, restless, like something is about to change, that is not coincidence, that is confirmation. The veil between timelines is thinning, and the one who left is now on their way back, carrying a secret so heavy it has bent their soul under its weight. They know what they did. They know what they didn't say. And God is about to allow them to confess it all, not to break you again, but to deliver the truth you deserve and the closure that will turn your wounds into wisdom. But be warned, this return will not look like a romantic fairy tale, at least not at first. It may come disguised as chaos. It may start with a message that shakes you. It may come through a sudden encounter, a strange dream, or a face you didn't expect to see ever again. And you must not run. You must not retreat into fear, because this moment, this holy, irreversible moment, was written before you were born, encoded into your soul's journey as a milestone you had to reach. This person was always meant to come back, but only after they became someone new. And now they are. Even now, as you listen to these words, their spirit is reaching for yours in silence, sensing the magnetic pull heaven is orchestrating between your destinies. Watch closely. The signs will be unmistakable. Numbers will repeat. Their name will suddenly appear where it shouldn't. A scent, a song, a memory will brush against your thoughts like an invisible hand reminding you. They are close. The countdown has begun. Heaven has already opened the gates. And when they stand in front of you again, eyes trembling with tears and a voice cracking beneath the weight of everything they've held inside, you will understand why it had to happen this way. God never abandoned you. He was preparing you both for this. There is a stirring in the realm of the spirit, one that cannot be explained through logic or ordinary signs, but only through divine discernment. The kind that pulses through your soul in quiet hours, in the moments when your mind is still enough to hear heaven's whispers. God has begun to open a sealed door that has long remained shut in your life. Someone from your past, someone you once believed was gone forever, is beginning to stir in their heart with a longing, a deep spiritual pull they don't understand. But heaven understands. Heaven has orchestrated this from the beginning. You thought it was over. You thought you had said your final goodbyes. Maybe there was pain, betrayal, or just the quiet distance of time. But the divine never forgot the bond. There is something unfinished between you and this person, something that wasn't meant to dissolve into silence. And now, after all this time, God is saying, prepare your heart for a voice you haven't heard in years is about to echo in your life again. You have seen signs, haven't you? Dreams that feel too vivid to be random. Numbers that repeat. A name you haven't spoken in ages, suddenly showing up in strange places. You feel like you're being watched, not in fear, but with curiosity, with hope, with divine timing woven into every second. This is not coincidence. It is alignment. Archangel Michael has been assigned to watch over this reunion, not because it's ordinary, but because of what it carries. This is no casual reconnection. This is a soul rethreading. This person is not coming back just to say hello. They're coming back with knowledge, with secrets, with regret, with something they must confess to you before their soul can move forward. They have changed, but not in the way you think. While their outer life may look similar, their spirit has been in turmoil, walking through shadows, seeking the light they once had when you were near. You were a lighthouse to them. You offered them peace. They didn't know how rare that was until they lost it. Now they're being pushed by a power they don't understand to make things right. To speak, to explain, to uncover truths you weren't ready to hear back then. But God says you are ready now. But listen closely, because here lies the danger. Not everyone in your circle will be happy about this. There are those who benefited from this silence. People who use your broken connection as a way to gain access to you, manipulate you, fill the gaps left by this person's absence. They will feel the shift before the message even arrives. They will feel the energy changing in you. They will grow anxious, maybe even angry, because the power dynamic is changing. They know that when this person returns, they might speak the truth that others tried so hard to bury. The truth about why they really left. The forces, both human and spiritual, that intervened. There were lies told about you, lies told to you. Now all of it is unraveling. God is not just returning a person. He is restoring a timeline, a destiny that was interfered with, a divine appointment that was postponed, not denied. Your heart will feel confused at first. You will ask yourself, do I even want this? But listen not to your fears. Listen to the still voice within you that's been waiting. Because the old version of you may have felt unworthy, unsure, unprepared, but the version of you standing today has grown stronger through the storms. You are not who you were when they left, and they are not who they were when they walked away. This return is not a rekindling of the past. It is a reckoning. It is a sacred correction of the timeline heaven had written for you both. There is a divine contract still unfinished, and heaven is now calling it due. If you listen carefully, your dreams will begin to prepare you. Watch for the signs, the flickering lights, the sudden emotion, the intense déjà vu. Angels are already clearing the path. Archangel Gabriel is standing over this person's heart, loosening the chains of guilt and confusion, and guiding them back to the place where peace still lives. You. They are scared. They don't know how to reach you. But heaven is preparing the perfect moment, the exact alignment for their message to reach you. And when it does, you must choose with wisdom. Will you allow the past to repeat? Or will you allow the divine to reveal the real reason this person is part of your destiny? You have 10 times the strength you had before, and heaven is begging you. Do not miss this moment. Because hidden inside, it is something much larger than reconciliation. There is a door to your future that only this reunion can unlock. And when it opens, not just your story, but your purpose, your legacy, your bloodline will change forever. Let no distraction pull you away. God is not only returning someone, you are being restored to the version of yourself that once knew how powerful you really are. This isn't just about love or closure. It's about alignment. The entire spiritual world is leaning in, waiting to see how you'll respond. Because the moment is coming, and it cannot be undone. All of heaven is holding its breath as the timeline turns toward you. Be still, be open, and be ready. Because a knock on the door of your soul is closer than you think, and it carries a voice you never thought you'd hear again. Get ready, because everything changes now. The heavens are not quiet anymore. The veil has thinned, and the air around you is echoing with the vibrations of movement, of footsteps for the past crossing through unseen thresholds to reach you again. This person, this soul tethered to you by divine intention, is no longer able to hold back. Something has awakened in them with a force that neither logic nor distraction can silence. God has sent stirrings into their dreams, visions they cannot understand, yet cannot ignore. They wake in the night whispering your name, not knowing why, but feeling that somewhere, somehow, their destiny has circled back to you. You may not feel ready for this. You may still carry wounds, questions, even anger. But listen, not all wounds are meant to be permanent, and not all pain is meant to end in silence. Sometimes God permits separation so that transformation can begin in the shadows. And what has been birthed in the dark is now being brought into the light. This person has faced their own storms, storms you were never told about. They've walked through sickness, betrayal, heartbreak, and divine correction. And yet, all through it, one image never left them, you. Not the old version of you, not just the memories, but the essence of your spirit. The way your presence made them feel like they were standing on holy ground without even knowing it. And now that same spirit is calling them back. Not because you asked, not because you searched, but because God Himself has declared the time has come for restoration. But there is more to this than just a reunion. There is a sacred consequence hanging in the balance. This person carries information you don't yet know, truths that could shift the way you see entire seasons of your life. You've been told versions of the story by others, pieces twisted to serve someone else's narrative. But the one who truly knows what happened has been bound in silence until now. The chains are breaking, and they're coming with clarity, with tears, with trembling hands that finally want to do right. Heaven is preparing the space for truth, not just reconciliation. And you must be strong enough to listen, not only with your ears, but with your spirit. Because the words will be heavy. They will contain decades of sorrow, secrets, and suppressed hope. There were people, yes, even relatives, even people you trusted, who worked behind the scenes to ensure this connection never returned. They whispered lies into your ears and theirs. They blocked messages. They twisted events. But God saw every shadow and kept the truth sealed for an appointed hour, this hour. And now that the seal has been broken, nothing can stop what is coming. But here is what heaven wants you to understand. You are not who you were, and this moment requires you to act not from emotion, but from wisdom. Do not allow old patterns to rewrite new destiny. This person is not returning to offer you confusion or chaos. They're returning because there is something only you can activate in them. A purpose, a promise, a plan that never got to be born. You were the one who believed in them before they believed in themselves. And that seed, though buried, has not died. It has waited beneath the soil of their regret. And now the rain of divine timing has caused it to break open. They will come in ways you least expect. A message sent, a name mentioned, a random coincidence that isn't random at all. They may be terrified. They may come humbly. But do not mistake their hesitation for weakness. This soul has wrestled with angels and demons to reach you again. God has protected both of you through unspoken battles. And now, He is calling forth the harvest. This isn't just about closure. It's about unlocking a divine inheritance, gifts, favor, protection that were withheld until this reunion occurred. There are blessings stored in heaven tied to your obedience in this moment. The enemy tried to rob you both of this destiny, but God has reversed the verdict. The enemy's assignment has expired. The curse is being broken. And Archangel Michael stands over your threshold with a sword of fire, ensuring that no darkness can interfere with what heaven is delivering next. But be alert. Just before this person appears, distractions will rise. Old temptations, confusing dreams, unexpected attacks. That is not coincidence. That is interference. Stay in prayer. Anoint your door. Speak your truth aloud. Declare you are ready for what belongs to you. Because the next knock on your soul's door will not just be a person. It will be a divine turning point. Do not let fear blind you to what you prayed for. You're not being haunted by the past. You are being called into the future God always meant for you to walk in. When they return, welcome them with clarity. Ask the questions. Speak from your healed self, not your wounded one. Let them see the version of you who chose growth instead of bitterness, strength instead of silence. Because this story is not over. In fact, it's just beginning. And heaven is leaning in with breath held, waiting to see how you'll open the door to what could be the most pivotal miracle of your lifetime. This isn't just restoration, it's resurrection. Get ready, child of God. The hour has come. The moment is almost here, and the air around your spirit is beginning to stir with the weight of what's been divinely arranged, not by man, not by coincidence, but by heaven's own orchestration. What you feel in your chest right now, the strange pull, the flickering memories, the sense that something is about to break open, is not your imagination. It is prophecy in motion. It is divine timing unraveling the knots of delay. And now, that person, yes, the one whose absence you buried beneath layers of silence, confusion, betrayal, or heartbreak, is moving toward you again, not because of human will, but because God has issued a heavenly summons over their soul. They could not ignore the call any longer. Every detour they took led them back to the same road, the path toward you. And though time may have passed, and though emotions may have changed, there is something deeper than time and deeper than emotion, and that is divine assignment. You were never just a chapter in their life. You were a page that heaven refused to let them turn without understanding its true meaning. But listen carefully, because the moment they come back into your atmosphere, you will have to choose how to receive them. You may think you've let go. You may believe you've moved on. But the soul knows what the mind tries to forget, and the heart remembers the sound of love spoken in its native tongue. This person is carrying stories you were never allowed to hear, confessions that were too heavy for their past pride to release, truths that are now burning on their tongue because God has given them no peace until they're spoken. These words will change the way you remember everything. These words will make sense of nights you cried alone, of signs you misread, of moments you blamed yourself for something you never caused. God is doing this not just to restore connection, but to heal your perception of yourself. Because there were lies sown into your spirit, lies that said you were unwanted, forgotten, replaced, when in truth, you were being protected for a return too holy to be rushed. But now, the delay is over. The angelic forces have been positioned. Archangel Michael is guarding the intersection of your destiny, ensuring that no interference will block what God is about to align. Yet, child of God, your discernment is still required. For not everyone who returns is meant to stay, and not everyone who leaves again is meant to be lost. Some reunions are for healing, not holding. Some are for closure, not continuation. You must be spiritually prepared to see through their eyes, not just your pain. You must be willing to ask, what has God written on this connection now? Not just, what did it used to mean? Because what is returning to you may come in a familiar body, but carry an entirely different spirit. There are things this person has seen that change them. And there are things you've become that they must now honor. The old dynamic cannot survive in this new season. God will not allow it. So, stand in your identity, not in your wounds. Let your response be shaped by wisdom, not longing. Let your ears be open, but your spirit discerning. God is trusting you with this moment because He knows what you couldn't have known back then. He knows that you've grown. He knows you cried in secret and risen in silence. He knows the prayers you prayed when no one was looking, asking for answers, signs, release, peace. And this return is the manifestation of those very prayers. But it comes with responsibility. If this is meant to stay, it will require new boundaries, new truth, new honesty. If it is meant to go again, it will leave with purpose, not pain. Either way, God is elevating you through this encounter. And more than that, this reunion, whether brief or permanent, is tied to something even greater, a door that cannot open until this soul steps through your life once more. There is a promise, a breakthrough, an inheritance that has been delayed until this encounter occurred. And when it does, when the tears fall and the words are spoken and the atmosphere shifts, you will feel the click of alignment in your spirit. It will feel like a heavy door unlocking from the inside out. And what follows will be acceleration. Blessings will begin to flow like water breaking through a dam. The things that were withheld, finances, opportunities, relationships, peace of mind, will begin to chase you. Because this was the moment heaven was waiting for. Not just a person returning, but you stepping fully into your purpose, your power, your clarity. Heaven is smiling over this. The angels are gathering around your home. Your name is echoing through realms of light, and God himself is stretching out his hand, whispering, "Behold, I make all things new." Watch for the sign. Be ready for the message, the knock, the call. Because the life you thought had already happened is about to begin again. And this time, you will not walk it alone.